With the third episode of Demon Slayer's Entertainment District arc, we received a closer look at its main antagonist, the upper rank 6 demon, DAKI. Now, the very first scene we see her in for this episode was not present in the manga, but did serve to establish an ongoing issue surrounding her existence in the district as its Orion. While she's around, people go missing and never return. To follow, we would have a shot of a patron on his way into the Ogimoto house. Now, this man does actually have a brief moment in the manga as well, but this one in particular is anime exclusive, but again, serves to enrich the experience as it makes things feel a bit more alive. From which point we would receive pretty much the same content as we had for the end of the previous episode, from Makio's captive state to Inosuke going up some stairs. To follow, as opposed to continuing the Inosuke investigation outright like the manga did, just like the previous episode, we again see a narrative order shift as we instead have Zenitsu's auditory search. And on that point, considering the things it is capable of, I would have to rank the usefulness of Zenitsu's superhuman hearing over that of Tanjiro's uncanny sense of smell. I mean, his hearing tends to be able to detect plenty of the things that Tanjiro's nose can, from demons to even feelings, but also tends to be presented with a rather impressive acuity akin to the tuning of a radio to the correct station. Now, in the manga, this Zenitsu scene continued on as the Inosuke stuff had already been handled, but it would seem that in an attempt to maintain viewer engagement and retention, such a back and forth was more favorable. And I will say that I do really like the directive choices being made with this season for sure. Going back to Makio and her being silenced, this scene felt a lot more weighty and a lot more pressing, and so much more threatening with the anime adaptation. The rush of Inosuke was additionally done really well. The sense of urgency and additional shots of transit made for such a fantastic sequence of events. And to be real with you, there are moments like these that are just so well done that I begin to question if they even happened in the manga to begin with. To see these otherwise mundane yet completely passable scenes be made memorable and incredible is always a pleasure, making this a wonderful experience not only for the anime-only audience, but manga readers as well. And the very same sentiment even extends to already memorable moments like the following one with Zenitsu. And this was a moment that I really liked for his character, as of course he's not the overtly brave type, as his first instinct at the sight of danger and duress is to scream and such, but in seeing someone in more pain than himself, especially one he may perceive to be an innocent, he does his best to bypass that part of himself and console them. Now, the sense of danger and overwhelming fear placed in him by DAKI was very well executed. The shift in color and selectivity of the movements in this tense situation really made it come together. DAKI being like a ticking time bomb nobody knew how to properly defuse, which made the moment of Zenitsu grabbing her so major, an incredibly ballsy move to be made, as despite his fear and recognition of this character to be an upper ranked demon, Zenitsu placed a young girl's safety well above his own, which is truly admirable. To follow, we would have a sequence of minor scenes from Tanjiro as he did several chores. Now, from a strictly anime-only perspective, this may all seem like an excuse to place Tanjiro, the main character, in this episode, which is to an extent more than likely the case. However, as a manga fan and more specifically a reader of the physical volume releases, this was an incredible treat, as in reality all of this was an adaptation of a bonus page featured in volume 9. I mean, they took this simple page and brought the entire thing to life, making it all the more funny. Now, they did something similar with something a lot smaller in the previous episode, which I thought was pretty awesome, but it's clear to me now that this is going to be a reoccurring thing, which only makes me more excited for this adaptation for, once more, my favorite arc of the series. And I feel like I have to make that clear with each and every one of these breakdowns. But yeah, to further this point, we would have the rendition of yet another bonus page as the madam would go to reprimand Inosuke. Now, the tone and reasoning behind this scene was tweaked a bit for the anime, as in the manga, it wasn't really as serious at all, as there he had done so to quickly change his clothes without being discovered to be a man. It had nothing to do with the madam, and there actually wasn't any follow-up on his crazy actions while chasing the demon, so again, well done Studio Ufotable. We would have events shifted around again, bringing us back to the Zenitsu predicament. And for the sake of reminding audience members what exactly was going on last, we would have the Orion ask for Zenitsu to repeat himself, which was unlike the manga where we suddenly just had her hit him, followed by more, which was reserved for later in the anime. But going to the scene that was originally before this in the manga, the madam was speaking to Daki, and oh my goodness how chilling this was. The overwhelming use of red here made things so unsettling. And because of that visual flair, because of Daki's sinister smile, it makes it so that this scene aligns with a portion of the intro visuals, which is just crazy to me. As despite reading the manga, I just saw this to be a visual flair, like a nice little spectacle for the intro, but no, it actually had some canon relevance. And man, when Daki had the madam in the air, goodness gracious, Ufotable can do no wrong, man. Like seriously, this is how CG should be used in anime. The way her hair and obi move about, it was so great that I actually want to see her obi be CG later on in this season. I believe CG has its place in anime most definitely, but as opposed to being a cheap cop-out like it usually is for most studios, it should be used supplementarily in ways such as this, as it is mixed with the animation we all know and love. And Daki, oh my goodness, she is just so pretty. I love her design so much. Now, the madam's death wasn't nearly as gruesome as it looked to be in the manga, but that is perfectly fine, as I imagine doing so would be more trouble than it's worth in regards to the airing of this episode. Past that, I love Daki's relationship with Muzan, and that is because there is none other like it. Muzan does not compliment the help, he just doesn't. Most, if not all, interactions with his demons are negative or malicious in some way. This, however, was nothing like that, and oh my goodness, the bomb dropped. Daki, Upper Moon 6 mind you, the lowest of the upper moons, has killed 7 powerful Hashira. That is impressive. Getting back to Zenitsu, in the manga, the room he was knocked into had a woman preparing her makeup, whereas in the anime version, the room is empty. Now, in regards to the master of the establishment, for him to get on his hands and knees begging Daki to stop after only just losing his wife 2 days prior, more than likely suspecting the Orion to be the culprit, it's terribly sad, yet it's the only way to settle the demon and defuse the situation. I mean, it's not like he really has much power over her, however, if she were to harm him as well and even kill him, that would complicate things for her in unfavorable ways. There is a sort of symbiotic relationship to be found here, which is another thing I admire about Daki, as I love seeing monsters within certain confines, particularly social ones, because seeing how they navigate these sorts of things is always really fascinating. Even if they don't know she's a demon, they know that she is a monster and not to be trifled with in the slightest. I mean, it's one of the reasons vampires are so cool, because they have so many damn rules that keep them hindered despite being so powerful. And if we're being completely honest with ourselves, the demons in Demon Slayer can pretty much be substituted for vampires. Now, the after credit scene for this episode is truly something remarkable, as it is not included in the manga in any capacity. This is anime original, but is such a good follow-up that it probably should have been in the manga. A moment that amplifies the worth of Zenitsu's courage and good deed, which was suspenseful and concluded with the Ori of Daki making its move on him. Very well done. Now, the bonus episode short was Christmas themed for the most part, ridiculous, and most of all, a whole lot of fun, which I always enjoy, and hopefully you enjoyed our breakdown of the episode enough to be here for more by subscribing to Plot Armor with notifications on. Because when it comes to bringing you some of the best Demon Slayer content on the platform, Plot Armor has you covered. As always, I'm Slice of Otaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.